Namaste OMies. I'm Ewashkiw from Adventure Yoga, and thanks for choosing this class, Level 2, Full Hatha Yoga Practice. This is a yoga for flexibility practice, but it's yoga for flexibility for those of us who already have a steady practice. So if you're newer to yoga, please go and take one of my basics or all levels classes. That'll be much more appropriate for your practice today. But if you're ready for Level 2 Hatha, unroll your mat and let's do this. I'll see you in a second. Please join me sitting in Siddhasana or Sukhasana, your choice, and sit up tall. Take a few deeper breaths. Look down at the ground in front of you, or close your eyes. Bring your hands together in front of your heart, Anjali Mudra. We learn about ourselves most clearly at the boundaries of our experience. Today, we're going to play with those boundaries. Push down through your feet, through your legs, through your hips. Create a boundary there. And from that, stretch up long through your spine, through all sides of your rib cage, through all sides of your neck. Let's begin our practice with one Om. Exhale fully. Inhale. Bow your chin. Lower your hands to your lap. Lift your chin, and if your eyes are closed, open your eyes. Namaste. Take your right hand, hold above your left knee, and take your left fingertips to the ground behind you. Stretch up through your spine and twist. Play with your boundaries. Move your shoulders back to expand your chest and expand your twist. Stretch up long through your spine so you can open up a little bit more. And come back to center. Take your left hand above your right knee. Right fingertips to the ground behind you. Twist to the right. And to expand your boundaries, move your shoulders back. Stretch up long through your spine and twist a little bit more. And then come back to center. Gomukhasana, cow face pose. Come up onto your knees. Because this is level 2, I'll give you a little less instruction than I normally would. I instruct the hell out of this pose sometimes. Bring your right knee behind your left knee. Separate your feet. Walk your hands back and sit down between your feet. Work to stack your knees as best as you can. Do it a little bit more than you're used to play with your edge. So really work to move your left knee and right knee on top of each other. Sit up tall. Stretch your right arm up, bend your elbow, take your left arm back behind you, and clasp your hands. If you can't clasp your hands, hold your shirt or grab a yoga strap. Push your head back into your right arm to open up your right shoulder a little bit more, and sit up tall. Push your hands into your back to help lift your chest. Push your feet down, push your hips down. Gomukhasana, cow face pose. If you want more instruction on how to do this pose, you can always pause this video and find my yoga pose breakdown of Gomukhasana, where I walk you through this step by step. Stretch up through your spine. Move your butt back. It won't really move, but shift it back a little. Stretch back through your sit bones and start to fold forward, round your back, and fold over your legs. If you're not used to doing this variation of Gomukhasana, Welcome to a class on playing with your boundaries. Fold in deeply. Steady your breath and sit up. Release your hands. Walk your hands forward. Push through your feet, lift your hips, and change sides. Untuck your right knee. Bring your left knee behind your right knee. Gomukhasana, other side. Sit down between your heels. Sit up tall. Stretch your left arm up, bend your elbow. Take your right arm back. Grab your hand. Tighten up the grip on your hands to tighten up the boundary. Draw your elbows in towards each other. Lift through your chest and push your head back to sit up tall. Gomukhasana, cow face pose. Imagine that you're actually able to move your sit bones back a little, and maybe you will. Maybe you'll find a little more at your edge. Start to shift forward, round your back, and fold forward. I like to think that in the fold of Gomukhasana, we're sort of creating the upper and bottom jaw of the cow's mouth, since this is cow face pose. Our upper body coming down to meet our lower jaw, or upper jaw coming down to meet our lower body, or some combination of that. Can you move from side to side a little here? Chew your cud. And then sit up tall. Release your arms. Oh, shake it out. Roll your shoulders. Walk your hands forward. And come into Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. Push your feet together. Push your hips towards your feet or pull your heels back towards your hips. Hold your feet. Push your feet together. And engage your butt. Think about turning your legs out. To help play with that edge, grab the inner edges of your feet with your thumbs, rest your elbows on your inner thighs, and open your feet up a little bit like a book. Fold forward a little so you can put a little more weight onto your legs, and maybe you'll get your legs closer to the ground. Work to keep that opening. Engage your butt, stretch through your inner thighs, and then sit up. Push the outer edges, the baby toe side of your feet into each other. Push them down into the ground. Even work to turn your feet down a little, so push down with your baby toes. Engage your outer hips more. Bound angle. Yeah, these are our warm-up poses, Gomukhasana and Baddha Konasana. We have a couple more. Bring your knees up, bring your legs together, give yourself just a hug for a second, and then stand up. Tadasana with your feet together, sometimes called Samastitihi. I'm going to stand in the middle of my mat. You can stand at the top of your mat. This is just so that you can see me in the camera. Stretch your arms down at your sides, legs together. Hug your arms in at your sides. Bring your fingers together. Stretch long through your spine. And then stretch your arms up. Bring your hands together. Urdhva Namaskar, but keep your gaze forward. So we're going to go into the standing side bend. Stretch up out of your shoulders. Push down through your feet. And side bend to the right. Indudalasana or standing side bend. Squeeze your legs together, squeeze your arms towards each other, stretch through your elbows and your fingers. So the boundary here is the length of your body. Draw in to increase the length. Side bend, stretch through your elbows, stretch through your fingers. This is where we can learn more about ourselves. Side bend more. What are you capable of? Come up through center and pause in center. Stretch up and side bend to the left. The clarity we can find in really working the edges of our practice is quite incredible. Clarity that comes to our mind, clarity that comes to our awareness. Squeeze your legs together Squeeze your elbows towards each other, stretch through your elbows and your fingers. And come up to center. Bring your arms down to your sides. I'm going to now stand at the top of my mat and join you there. Inhale, stretch your arms up. And exhale, fold forward. Step your left leg back, come into Banarasana lunge. Then walk your hands forward and a little bit wider. I like to place my thumbs on the top corners of my mat, the rest of my fingers off my mat for this pose, which I call Spider-Man. Lower your hips, keep your right foot flat, but move your right knee out to the side, bend your elbows out to the side, and lower your chest, lower your hips. Your left knee is going to want to bend. You can bend it, but you'll get more hip opening if you straighten it. More hip opening in your left hip, more hip opening in the external rotation of your right hip. Push down for your right hip, open your right knee out to the side. Look forward, like you're looking up even. Pull your shoulders away from your ears, lower your chest even more. Spider-Man. Straighten your arms, walk your hands back, lunge, and then get a little bounce. A little bounce in your hips, get a little bounce in your elbows, be up on your fingertips so that they can be your shock absorbers, and jump switch or step switch. So it's spring up with your hips and change your legs in the air. Do it again. And one more. Left leg forward, right leg back, Banarasana lunge. And then walk your hands forward till your thumbs are on the front corners of your mat. And your elbows at the side, lower your hips, move your chest down, and stretch it forward. Spider-Man. Again, the more you can straighten your right leg, the more hip extension you're going to get on the right leg. Push down for your left foot, keep it flat, but turn out your left leg. Then move your shoulders away from your ears, look forward, even like you're working to look up. Lower your chest more. Spider-Man. Play your edge here. How deep can you get? How much opening can you get? Straighten your arms. Walk your hands back. Uttanasana. Step forward and fold forward. Straighten your legs. Place your hands flat on the ground. Now, of course, if straight legs and hands flat isn't available, then do what is available. Straight legs and fingertips, or fingertips and knees bent. But play the edge. Rather than doing what's easy for you today, I want you to work a little bit harder. Breathe here and go to your edge. See what you discover there. Come up onto your fingertips, Ardha Uttanasana. Lengthen your spine and fold forward, Uttanasana. Push down through your feet and stand up. Reach up and bring your arms to your sides. Tadasana. Cool. Vrikshasana, tree pose. Bring your feet together. Turn your right leg out. Bring your right leg high inside your left leg. Bring your hands in front of your heart. Find your steadiness. Push your left leg into your right foot. Turn your right hip out. Stretch your arms up. Bring your hands together. Bring your arms behind your head and stretch up. Bring your fingers together. Vrikshasana. Now we're going to play with our outer left hip here. Push down for your left foot. Imagine that you're turning your foot out to the left, but stick it to your mat. So your outer left hip engages. So your inner left thigh pushes into your right foot a little bit more. And then relax that. When you relax it, you might feel that your left hip gets a little lazy. It pops out to the left a little. Push down through your left foot. Without letting it move, turn it out. So your inner thigh engages, so your outer left hip engages.
And then do that again. Relax. And then tone it. Do this isometric engagement of your left foot. Tadasana. Whew, shake it off. Relax your left leg. Relax your right leg. And then let's go to the other side. Feet together. Bring your left leg up for Vrikshasana. Bring it as high up on your right leg as you can. Place your left foot sort of on the back half of your right leg. And then stretch your arms up. Bring your hands together, arms behind your head, fingers together for full Vrikshasana. Stretch up and push down. Grow at the boundaries of your pose. We're going to play with the boundary of our outer right hip, just like we did on the first side. Push down for your right foot. And imagine that you're turning your right foot out to the right. You might find that your left knee turns forward a little when you do that, because your right leg will turn a little. Your outer right hip will hug in. Your inner right thigh will come forward a little, which is what's going to maybe move your left knee forward a little. So then push your left foot into your right leg and open your left knee a little more, and then relax that. When you relax it, your right hip will pop out to the right a little bit, a little. It's not like a big hip pop, but it's a little because we disengage slightly. So re-engage. Turn your right foot out without letting it move. Hug your right leg in. Hug your outer right hip in. And then relax that and do it once more. Turn it out to hug in. And then relax. Tadasana. Standing thigh stretch. Bend your right leg. Grab your right foot. You can do what you like with your left hand. You're in charge. Welcome to level 2. Line up your knees with each other. So bring your right knee down so it's in line with your left knee. Pull your outer right heel towards your outer right hip and then push the front of your right hip forward. Stretch the heck out of the front of your right thigh. And find your edge here so you're really getting the thigh stretch. You may need to engage your right ankle more. You may need to spread your right toes a little more. You may need to pull with your right hand on your right foot a little bit more. You definitely need to keep moving the front of your right hip forward and not bring your right knee forward. You may need to move your right knee back a little to get the thigh stretch. It depends on how open and flexible your thighs are. Look forward, look up, and then release before Stephen falls. It's not that falling's wrong, it's just release before I fall so we can do the other side. Falling's good. Falling means we're playing our edge. Bend your left leg, grab the top of your foot. That's where we get to discover more. Bring your left heel towards your outer left hip. Push the front of your left hip forward, bring your knees in line with each other. And you can do what you need to do with your right hand for stability. To get more thigh stretch, engage your left ankle, or spread your left toes, or really engage pulling with your left hand onto your left leg. Push the front of your left hip forward, like you're opening up your left hip. Don't bring your left knee forward though. You can even move your left knee back a little bit more to get more thigh stretch. Steady your breath, look forward, and release your left leg. Bring your feet together. This time left hand on your hip, lift your right knee up, grab your right big toe. Stretch your left arm out to your side, open your right knee out to the side. Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. If you can go to straight leg, go to straight leg. Or lift your heel, work to get your right shin parallel to the ground. Push your arm into your leg, push your left leg down, stretch out through your left fingers. You can stay here or work on straight leg. Tuck your right hip underneath you. Push down for your left foot and do that same work we did in tree pose here. Push it down without letting it move, turn it out so your left hip gets stronger to support you more so you can stretch out and play the boundary. Bend your right knee, release your leg. Tadasana. Other side. Bring your right hand to your waist. Lift your left knee, grab your big toe. Push your arm and leg into each other. Open your left knee, open your right arm. Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. You can go straight to left leg straight if that's in your practice, or work with me to open your left knee joint, bring your left shin parallel to the ground, and then push your left arm and left leg into each other. Find stability, and if you want to take it further, play with straightening your left leg. Everybody push down through your right foot. Push it down without moving it. Turn it out. So your outer right hip engages. So your left leg can open a little bit more. So you can stretch out through your legs, through your arms, through your spine, and find clarity in the boundaries, and beyond the boundaries. Bend your left knee. Release your leg. Tadasana. Fold forward. Uttanasana.
Ardha Chandrasana, right leg up, half moon. Lift your right leg. Open your right hip up. Stretch your right arm up. So actually quite similar to the pose we just did. Lengthen through your spine rather than moving your chin towards your chest. Push down through your left foot. Without letting it move, turn it out so your left hip hugs in. This will move your right hip out to the right, so stretch your right leg straight back again. Bend your right knee for Chapasana. Reach back with your right hand. Find your right foot and grab it. And then pull your right heel over to the left side of your mat. Turn your chest out to the right, even up towards the ceiling. Look out to the right or look up. Push down through your left foot. Without moving it, turn it out. Hug your left hip in. Lift your right shoulder, right ribs. Ardha Chandra Chapasana. Go back to Ardha Chandrasana, keeping that opening in your torso. And Uttanasana. Great pose for playing the edge. Working to find stillness at the boundary. Play the edge. Go to your edge in Uttanasana. Stretch your legs, because you need that for Ardha Chandrasana. Bring your right hand forward, push down, lift your left leg up, open your left hip, lift your left arm up. Instead of moving your breastbone towards your right knee, move it away from your right knee. Lengthen your pose. Stretch it out. Lift through your left shoulder. Stretch back through your left leg. Stretch up through your left fingertips. Half moon. Push through your right foot. Turn it out isometrically without actually turning it. So your right hip hugs in. Then move your left leg straight back. Then bend your left knee for Ardha Chandra Chapasana. Grab your left foot. Stretch your left knee back, straight back. Pull your left shoulder up and over. Kick your foot away from your butt. Turn your chest out to the side. Maybe even start to turn it up. Turn your gaze up. Go to your edge. Push your right foot down. Isometrically turn it out so your right knee is forward. So your outer right hip is engaged, steady and strong for your pose. Keep that lift in your torso and go back to Ardha Chandrasana and Uttanasana. Forward fold. Go to your edge here. And then Ardha Uttanasana, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Step it back, push it up and back, stretch it out. We're going to stick a few poses together here. I like this little sequence, but it does take a level 2 Hatha class to really be able to do it. I mean, we could do it in a level 2 Vinyasa class, I suppose. It's just a lot of the classes that I teach are all levels, and this is clearly not. Turn onto the outer edge of your right foot, Set up like Vashisthasana, but bring your left leg up into tree pose. So I call this tree plank or tree side plank or Vashisthasana Vrikshasana, or some combination of that. Push through your right foot. Imagine that you're turning it out. So pushing your baby toe down into the ground so your outer right hip engages, and even lift your hip here. That's the stability we're going for. And just like in Ardha Chandrasana, move your breastbone away from your knee, move it towards the top of your mat and open it up. Keep your baby toe pushing down to engage your outer right hip. And then come to tree plank. Come to your left hand, roll onto your right toes, shift your shoulders forward. And then tree chaturanga. Hold it in, push your right leg into your left foot. Tree cobra. Bring your hips down, right foot flat. Lift your chest. Oh yeah, that's a nice hip opener. And look forward, move your shoulders down, lengthen through your spine. Tuck your toes, tree dog. Push it up and back. And regular dog. And then the other side. So tree Vashisthasana, Vrikshasana, Vashisthasana. Go to the left, bring your right foot up into tree. And open it up. Stretch your right arm up, move your breastbone away from your knee towards the top of your mat. Push down through the baby toe of your left foot to really engage your outer left hip, your glute medius, glute minimus. Lift through your hips and breathe. Tree plank. Bring your right hand down, roll onto your toes on your left foot. Shift your shoulders forward. Push your left foot and your left leg into your right foot. Stretch out through your right knee. Hold that into tree chaturanga. Bring your hips down. Tree cobra. Tree cobra. I'm sure there is such a thing. Bring your shoulders down. Lift your chest. Spread your toes. Tuck your toes. Tree dog. And regular dog. Stretch it out and breathe. And then shift forward into plank and come all the way down to your belly. Place your feet flat, untuck your toes, bend your right knee, reach back with your right hand, push through your left hand, lift your chest, pull your right heel towards your outer right hip. So it's like you're doing cobra on the left side of your body and frog or Bekasana on the right side of your body. Push down through your left foot, push the front of your right hip down, stretch your right knee back, lift your right knee up a little, really stretch your quads, lift your chest up with that. So push your right hand into your right foot, push your left hand down, lift your chest. And then come down. Release your right leg. Place your right hand beside your chest like you're going to do cobra, but then bend your left knee. Reach back with your left hand. Grab your left foot. Push your right hand down. Lift your chest. Pull your left heel towards your outer left hip. I like to get the heel of my hand, on my left hand, onto my toes. My fingers wrapping around my ankle. Gives me a lot of power here. So if you like that, do that. Push down for your hips. Lift your chest. Lift your left knee a little. Kick your foot back. Pull back with your right hand. Lift your chest. Think about your right foot. Spread your toes. Lift your chest by kicking your foot back.
Pulling back with your right hand, half frog and half cobra. Sounds like a great superhero. Come on down and push up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Ekapada Rajakapatasana. Pigeon, right leg forward. Work to have your right shin parallel to the top of your mat. So you've got to play your edge here a little bit. You may be used to bending your right knee a lot and bringing your right foot toward your left hip and pointing your toes. Work for shin parallel to the top of your mat. That's where the pose goes eventually, so play with that here. I want you to find as close to shin parallel to the top of your mat, right ankle dorsiflexed as you can. Then bring your hands on the mat in front of you, come up on your fingertips, and look over your right shoulder. Pull your left hip forward. So if you look over your left shoulder to do this, it's going to move your left hip back. Looking over your right shoulder is going to move your left hip forward. That's what we want. Make your legs really active here. Pull your right knee and left knee towards each other. Find that edge. Like, I can feel the edge in my outer right hip. This gives it the work it needs. Now this is level 2, but you still get options. Do what's appropriate for your clarity at your boundary. Stay here, or bring your right elbow to the sole of your right foot and bring your left hand onto your right hand for twisted pigeon. Look at your left hip, pull it forward, pull your right knee back to your left knee, and twist. Stretch long through your spine. Expand what you know about yourself. Expand your possibilities. That's what happens at the edge. Come back to center. If your left foot is flat, tuck your toes, push up and back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Now that you know what's coming, you can prepare your mind a little bit. The first time we try something that's new, we might not do our best, or we don't really mean we might not do our best, but it might not go as well as we'd hoped. But then we get to try again. Other side, left leg forward. Bring the outer edge of your left foot to the right side of your mat. Keep your left ankle dorsiflexed. This is how you get into shin parallel to the ground. Walk to the front of your mat. Walk your right foot back, slide it back, and do your best for left shin parallel to the top of your mat. Doesn't have to be perfect, just has to be your best. But I want you to play with going a little bit further than you're used to. If you want to make it more parallel, you can walk your right knee back, move your hips back a little, and that's going to get your shin a little closer to parallel. Bring your hands in front of you, look over your left shoulder and pull your right hip forward. Keep pulling your right hip forward. Draw your knees towards each other, look forward, and find your edge here. Keep moving your right hip forward, keep drawing your left knee back. Lift through your chest. If you get high in your upper body here, that gravity is going to really push you down and find that boundary in your outer left hip, even in your outer right hip. And again, you have the choice here. You may stay here, or bring your left elbow outside your left foot for the twisted pigeon. Walk your hands over to the right, take your left elbow to the sole of your left foot, take your right hand onto your left, and twist. When you twist though, don't lift your right hip up. Push down for your right foot, right knee, pull your right hip forward, twist your spine. And play the edge. Come back to center and push it back. Downward facing dog. Bring your knees down to the ground. Move your feet over to one side, hips to the other, sit down, and then stretch your legs out wide. So I like to use the corners of my mat to really help me play the edge of feet wide, the boundaries of our experience. I find wide leg forward folds quite challenging. So I have to challenge myself to do my best every time. We're not doing Upavishta Konasana though. This is just to get our hips nice and open. We're going to do Janu Shirshasana. And you get a choice in Janu Shirshasana. Bend your right leg. Bring your right foot inside your left leg, like tree pose. So this is stage one. Or you can play with where we go eventually with Janu Shirshasana, which is more right heel to the right sit bone, ball of your right foot to the left sit bone. So you have to open your hips even more. You have to go to the edge and take your right heel to your right sit bone, take the ball of your right foot to the left sit bone, and then turn your leg so that your shin comes down to the ground. I like to shift forward and lift my hips. So you're sitting on your right foot. Top of your right shin to the ground. And this is the setup for Janu Shirshasana in Light on Yoga. It's not what we teach. This is where it goes eventually. It also goes further. Turn and face your left leg. Stretch your arms up. Shift forward. Hold your left foot. Wiggle your left hip back here. You can probably find a little more opening for it. Move your left ribs back. Lift up and over your left hip and fold forward. You get more options. Because just like right foot to the inside of the left leg isn't the final form, forehead to shin isn't the final form. Forehead to the ground inside your left leg, or even further, forehead to the ground outside your left leg. Those are options. To get there, you can lift up through your torso, shift your body to the right, and come down, forehead to the ground. You'll find the edge of your left leg. You'll find that boundary, that clear experience. And if you want even more, lift up. Take your left hand, touch the front of your belly, and move your left ribs over to the left, and then bring your left hand to the ground. Bring your head to the ground outside your left leg. And everybody come up, sit up, open your right leg. Interesting, right? If you haven't tried this variation of Janu Shirshasana before, it can be a little like mind-opening. It's like, oh, right, we're teaching a modification. We're doing a modification most of the time. Bend your left leg. Modifications are great. Bring your left foot to the inside of your right leg. We do this modification because it's accessible to people. But you can take it further if you want. Stay here, or open your left hip more. Take your left heel to your left sit bone, ball of your left foot to your right sit bone, and then turn your leg in to bring your left shin, front of it, down to the mat, top of your left foot to the mat. It can help to push down, lift your hips up, and lean forward a little to really get that, to really sit on your left foot. Turn and face your right leg. Stretch up through your spine. It's harder to turn your torso here. You're limited by what's happening. Stretch your arms up. Reach forward, fold forward, grab your right foot. That's why when I do this foot variation, I have to really work my right hip back a little bit more here to get long over my right leg. I also have to really avoid my ribs getting stuck on my right hip here, my pelvis. So you can stay forehead to knee, or play with the other variation of forehead to the ground inside your right leg. If I want the calf stretch and the hamstring stretch of Janu Shirshasana, this is the place I go. And if you want to play with going a little further, lift your torso. Take your right hand, hold the front of your right ribs, move them over to the right, and then start to fold in. Bring your right fingertips to the ground, pull with your left hand, and bring your forehead towards the ground or to the ground outside your right leg. Lift your head and chest, everybody, and sit up. Good times. Paschimottanasana. Stretch your legs out. Wiggle your hips back, or use your hands. Widen your hips a little. Put your sit bones on the ground. Adjust your glasses, or just knee. Stretch your arms up. Move your chest forward. Hold your feet and fold forward. If you can clasp your hands, do that. If you want to hold one wrist with the opposite hand, do that. Push your heels down. After that work, you may find like, oh, this is starting to become a back stretch, which is what the pose name is, stretch of the west, stretch of the back. We've done a little bit of work playing with the boundaries of our legs, seeing what our hamstrings, our quads, and our hip internal and external rotators are capable of. Playing with our adduction and our abduction. So find more space for your back here. Round your back a little. Lengthen your spine out over your legs. Lift your head and chest. And sit up. Baddha Konasana again. Bring the soles of your feet together. See how this feels different than back at the beginning of class. Pull your heels in or move your hips to your feet. Sit up tall. Grab your big toes and place your thumbs on your inner arches, and then open your feet like a book. Lean in a little, push your arms down. Keep your legs as weighty as you can and sit up. Push the baby toe side of your feet down. Stretch through your inner thighs. Steady your breath. Go to your edge. Expand what you know about Baddha Konasana and about yourself. Bring your knees up, or stay there if you want. We're going to do Purvottanasana and Shavasana. So if you want to stay there for a little bit longer, you can. Or join me in Purvottanasana. Feet flat to start, hands pointing forward, fingers pointing forward, lift up. So reverse table is stage 1. Stage 2 is straighten your legs with your heels on the ground. Lift your hips. Stage 3 is toes to the ground. Expand your chest wherever you are. Lift through your butt to open your hips. Baddha Konasana opens our external rotators. Purvottanasana opens our flexors. Come down and lie down. Well-earned Shavasana. Baddha Konasana is such a great pose for creating that opening in our hips, opening our adductors, opening our internal rotators, strengthening our ability to open our legs with our external rotators, our adductors, our abductors. And Purvottanasana find to just be such a great cleansing pose after that. Here, though, go to your edge of relaxation. Look for clarity in your rest, your repose. We will rest here for about 1 more minute. Really let yourself go fully. Go to the edge of space. And bring yourself back. Deepen your breath. And do you know how you like to come out of Shavasana? Do what you like to do. Move as your body wants to move. Take your time. And when you're ready, meet me seated. With your eyes closed, hands in Anjali Mudra. You can take your time. We learn about ourselves most clearly at the boundaries of our experience. Take yourself to the edge. See what's on the other side of the boundary. It's there. We can choose what to do with that knowledge. Do we go? Do we go out into the darkness, beyond our edge, and grow? Or are we comfortable with where we are? It's there that you see clearly. So you can choose. If you don't go there, though, if you never go there, you never see that choice. You never see the clarity that comes with being the edge of space, the edge of your experience. Yoga takes us there. If we let it, it gives us the choice. Thanks for playing with the boundaries of your experience today. May it serve you well. Namaste. Thanks for joining me. My Baddha Konasana felt so different at the end of this class from the way it did at the beginning of this class. I hope you noticed some changes in your body and some changes in your attitude when you got to the boundary and saw what was on the other side and saw what you were capable of. If you'd like to slow it down and do some pranayama to end your practice today, there's a pranayama class of mine that will be perfect for settling your nerves. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, just click on my picture over there. Done. Thanks, OMies. See you soon.